All right, switching to the offense, tight end has not necessarily been a prime position. We could mention for a number of reasons, Ryan. The first one that would come to mind for me was that there's just been so many dynamic outside threats, and of course in the slot as well. Your thoughts about the tight end position coming into Saturday's game?
Yeah, that's another spot I'll be watching. Last year was really a down year for tight ends. The tight end needs to be a big part of the Clemson offense. Kelly Bryant, I think, gets a lot of flack for his performance in the Sugar Bowl and in general his performance as a passer. But he doesn't get enough credit sometimes for overcoming the losses that they had in the receiver corps with Mike Williams and Artavis Scott leaving, and also Jordan Leggett. Last year was Clemson's least productive year in terms of receptions and yardage at the tight end position since 2008. Tight ends only caught 25 passes for 348 yards. Part of that's because Garrett Williams tore his ACL before the year, so he comes back. So now Garrett Williams and Mylan Richard will compete for playing time. You also see Cannon Smith and J.C. Chalk competing for playing time. So I'm interested to see Garrett Williams, see if he's ready to make an impact, and see if Mylan Richard has grown more from last season. I think if tight end's kind of a black hole in the offense, at least from a receiving standpoint, that's it kind of handicaps their potential.
Yeah, Mylan Richard with 18 receptions, 210 yards, and a couple touchdowns last season. I know that you're going to be eyeing the wide receivers. Now, normally I look at the Clemson wide receivers during the regular season for the reason all college football fans do, because it's been one of the prime positions of talent across college football in recent years. But you move those guys onto the NFL, and there's some intrigue as to, okay, who's going to fill these spots? What are they going to look like? What are the coaches going to do in regards to inside versus outside threats? And how do you look at this position so far?
Yeah, so Alex Kraft is going to have a great piece up Friday, the day before the game, about what he's looking for out of the spring game. And he and I have a really strong agreement on this, and that's, although Deion Kane and Ray McLeod are both leaving, we both feel that the wide receiver core could actually get better. Kane was good, but he wasn't really a great fit at that 9 position. That's the typically where you put the taller receiver who's going to go up and get the vertical routes and win those jump balls. It's like the Martavis Bryant kind of position. And that just really wasn't where he thrived. So now this opens up a spot for either T. Higgins and or DeAndre Overton, taller receivers, more about high pointing the ball, to get a lot of playing time. So that's exciting. So I'm looking to see one or both of them show off their ball skills, ability to high point it, make some plays. We'll see if Kelly Bryant or any of the other quarterbacks show a little bit more ability and trust going downfield. And then coming out of camp, we're hearing a lot of good reports about Amari Rogers. He'll be at the 2 wide receiver position, running the screens, the end arounds, all those type plays. So we'll see if he could do anything dynamic. I think he's going to be a big part of the offense. And overall, I think the wide receiver core could be better despite losing 2 potential NFL guys.
Overton caught 14 passes in 2017. T. Higgins with 17 receptions at almost over 20 yards per reception and 2 touchdowns. And nothing really that Overton did last year really comes to mind for me, a guy that watches, obviously, the big games. But T. Higgins, I mentioned earlier this offseason that I was going to really diagnose breakout players across college football. And that's a guy that I targeted in profiling before the season starts. T. Higgins, I think, is just an exceptional athlete and could really have a huge 2018.
Yeah, he's shown flashes. He had one particular catch, I think it was like in the FCS game towards the end of the year, where he kind of bobbled it and kept it alive and reeled it in. He, I think it was South Carolina where he really ate him up. He was a huge part of the game plan against Alabama, but got hurt, and that really changed the game. I think he's going to be a primary piece in the Clemson offense this year. And I think Overton's very good too, and just hasn't really gotten enough opportunities. I think he's very good, and I think you'll see their receptions and yardage on both those guys double and then some.